Hello, folks. Welcome back. Last time we went over this genealogy tree. There is one thing that I have to kind of correct uh, because I had said that Yudhishthir was the son of Dharmaraj. Now, there is a very small populace of people who do believe this is the case, but most commonly, Yudhishthir is Dharmaraj. He is not the son of Dharmaraj. He is the son of Dharma, which is Yama. So I had said, I didn't clear it up last time. I said he is the son of Dharmaraj. So I just wanted to set that right. And last time we had concluded this session when we started talking about the gambling game that was there. Now, I want to start from there, but there was one other character that I think this might be a good time to introduce him. We did look at him a little bit, but I wanted to. This is one other context that I want to clarify. When we discuss some of the following slides, he is an interesting and important player in that connection, and that is Karna. So we looked at this chart last time, and Karna is we know Karna is he's uh, Kunti's son, and he is so he's let me just point out where he is. He sits here, so he is the one that Kunti gave birth to. I think he was the first son. So before actually she got the other sons, and she had to leave him in the river, and we know that story. So there's one point that I wanted to clear up, and that is that when there was one contest going on, and Arjuna was proving to be all powerful in that, which he was one of the star students of Dronacharya, and generally people knew that he was good. But his only opponent of his caliber was Karna. And then he came to that particular contest. And the rule was that if uh, if you wanted to participate in that, you had to be a Kshatriya. And he wasn't. So on the basis of that, they were like, you cannot participate. So at that time, Duryodhana gets up, and Duryodhana gives him the kingdom of Anga. That is why he's called Angaraj Karna. And by that act of making him the king of Anga, by giving up this piece of land, giving him the piece of land, he makes a key decision. Duryodhana makes a key decision in his entire life. This decision helps him a lot because it kind of buys Karna's loyalty. So Karna is so obliged that he is similar to Bhishma. It's like, I will always support Duryodhana no matter what, however wrong he is. Anything he asks me to do, I'm going to do it because he did this huge favor for me. He stood up for me when nobody was supporting me. And he's called as Radheya. He was the son of a charioteer. There's some story behind that. But the fact of the matter is that he, being of that caste, he was kind of pushed aside, and Duryodhana gave him the right, well, at least better than what he was, prestige. So this event marks a turning point in not only Duryodhana's life, but especially in Karna's life, and it has got far-reaching effects. So I wanted to mention this because we are going to see how this plays out. Okay, so now back to our the gambling piece that we left off last time. So as I said, that this Shakuni, who is the uncle of of Duryodhan, he is he's malicious, and he's got all intention to ensure that he can destroy this kingdom, and so he is plotting all kinds of evil things. And because of the weak point that Duryodhan is for Dhritarashtra, Duryodhan is able to manipulate his father as he wants. He will threaten him with unthinkable things, and one may believe or may not believe it. He'll say to the king, Dad, you have to do this, because I'm extremely upset, and if you don't do it, then I will give up my life. And the minute he says that, that's it. Dhritarashtra will be all over him and say, okay, I'll do what you want. And so the invitation goes from this royal assembly hall to the Pandavas. And everybody knows the meaning of this. And Yudhishthir comes to the kingdom, to the assembly hall. And the game of dice starts. And he keeps losing. He loses everything, Yudhishthir. And there comes a point when there's nothing left. So he then says, he tells Duryodhan and Shakuni that I have nothing left that I can put at stake. And they have won Indraprastha from everything that they have done. They have the Kauravas have taken everything. And they're like, of course you have something. And what is that? He says, your brothers are there. And so he puts his youngest, Nakul, Sahadev, the twins, he one by one, he puts them, and he loses them. And then he loses Bhima, and then he loses Arjuna. They all become slaves, and they can't say anything. They could get mad and all that, but now they are slaves. And being slaves, they have to listen to their masters. And there is at this point, the game takes a turn that is almost unthinkable. Even in present day, such kind of event is unheard of. It is a very graphic and disturbing thing that took place. And what happens is that when everything is lost, and he says, I don't have anything left. And Duryodhana says that you have Draupadi. Draupadi, as you remember, is the wife of the 5 Pandavas. And he goes that you have Draupadi. You can put her on this game. And as much as the other elders, they are shocked. Bhishma, Drona, they're shocked. What is happening? And this is just the beginning of how bad it got. And then he plays that. He puts her at stake and he loses. Big surprise there. But he loses. I meant sarcastically, no big surprise there. And it so happens that her period is going on, so she is secluded the way in those days. If at that time of the month, if the lady would be in some room where she doesn't participate in a lot of things, she's not supposed to come out, and it was very reasonable because she needs rest and all that. So Duryodhan, he is so, on the one hand, he was very happy, he gets all this, but then he's so jealous and he's so mad, he's so up with emotions and all that he asks his younger brother, Dushasan, to go and get her to this assembly hall. And Karna is supporting this. Karna is also saying all kinds of wicked things that do not behoove of the kind of prince he is. Later on, he repents, but at that time, he is supporting, he is with this terrible, terrible thing that these guys are doing. He's with them. He teams up with them. He gangs up with them on the Pandavas. And Dushasan goes and he pulls her by the hair. That's how it's been said in the Mahabharat. He drags her on the floor. He just pulls her by the hair and brings her, drags her to the assembly. And you would think that this is this was the extent of their animal behavior, but no, he asks Dushasan to disrobe her, and everybody is like in shock. You unbelievable! What is he saying? And is he really going to do that, or they are going to stop because they have insulted the Pandavas enough? We hope that their whole thirst is for vengeance is satisfied by how much they have insulted and brought them down. But no, he that is I don't want to be very disrespectful of the whole Mahabharata text, but interestingly, there is a little bit of dispute about whether this incident actually took place. But nevertheless, so she goes and he gets her to the assembly, and she is imploring. She talks to her 5 illustrious husbands that, can you do something? What is this happening? You have got so much of strength. One of you is enough to conquer these guys. Can't you do something about it? And then she turns to Bhishmacharya. She asks him, you are grandfather, how can you see these things happening? And he doesn't do anything. And Dushasan starts disrobing her. He starts pulling her dress. So now there is a let me just clear this. Okay. There is an incident that has taken place some time back. I'm not going to get into it, but there is a relationship that is of the Lord and the devotee between Sri Krishna and Draupadi. And Dushasan is described to be having the strength of 100 elephants. And he starts pulling at her robe, her sari. And she, Draupadi, prays to Lord Krishna that you are my only savior, nobody else can help me. And now Sri Krishna comes in, and there is this miracle that takes place at that point. But this debauchery that has taken place, this corruption of the human mind, the decline and fall from basic human decency at this level is unheard of even now. And the way it has been in general in Mahabharata, some of these things have been discussed in such great details that this incident, of course, it's unthinkable, unreadable when you go through it. And during the war as well, there's some of the details that are there in the Mahabharata. They will make your skin crawl. There's so much of gore and all that. It's the way it has been put together. Anyhow, so that hatred and vengeance that the Kauravas had towards the Pandavas, they they went far below human decency at an animal level, maybe even less than that. And so Dushasana, he is pulling at the sari, and then, like I said, there's a miracle. And then Krishna comes and appears, or not that everybody can see him. And then he provides this rope to her from the sky or from the heavens. And Dushasana is pulling and pulling and pulling. And on the one hand, he is pulling, and the other hand, Sri Krishna is providing. And he actually, the Mahabharat says that there is a mountain of robe that is collected because of how much cloth is being pulled by Dushasana, and he actually gets tired. There is no strength left in him to disrobe her anymore. The cloth just doesn't stop coming. It just keeps coming and coming and coming, and he just he rolls down on the floor, tired, unable to pull that cloth anymore. And she, obviously, Draupadi is in a very dire straits. We don't have words to describe the situation that she is going through. And this news reaches other sections of the Hastinapur city, and it reaches Dhritarashtra's wife Gandhari, and then they try to salvage the situation. Things get all Draupadi curses him, and there's a bunch of story going on there. But what is interesting after this is that because Gandhari intervenes, there is Kunti doesn't come, but she obviously expresses her displeasure. He is ready to Dhritarashtra, the blind king. He's ready to give up return back the Pandavas, their kingdom. Now, when this Dushasana is disrobing, or when this event finishes, at that time, Bhima, who is the middle of the brothers between, so Yudhishthira is the eldest one, then is Bhima, and then is Arjun. Bhima takes an oath at this point that until I do not, I will take an oath that I will tear open the chest of or the thighs of Dushasana, and I will collect a handful of blood from it, and with that I will wash her Draupadi's hair. He takes that, he makes that oath at that point. So now, after this event, the blind king is like, I will return all this thing to you, and please don't curse me, and because Draupadi is screaming a curse. And she is asking the Pandavas, are you willing to take it back and forget everything, all this inhuman, indecent thing that has just taken place? And the extent to which this dice has influenced this whole story, they actually go back, and Duryodhan is extremely upset at all this. He says, we had won all this thing, and why did you give it back and all that? So what he does is he calls them a second time, and now everybody knows it has happened once. It's going to happen again. The nerve that he has, the audacity he has to even mention this is, you would think, why would anybody listen to him now that all this happened? But no, he is super manipulative in so far as Dhritarashtra goes, and he throws his the ultimatum that he has been using the manipulation that he has been doing using this. So he says, Duryodhan tells the blind king that, look here, the fact of the matter is, I can't stand guys. I stand the Pandavas. So there is one choice. Either they stay or I stay. I will go to I will have a fight with them. We'll enter into a battle and they live or I live. Both of us cannot stay at in the same thing. And then he's like, don't you have another option? And he says, there is another option. Another option is I will commit suicide. That's it. When he says that, Dhritarashtra is again, he just loses all reason, all sense of any kind of simple logic. He will just do what he's asking. But this time around, the stakes are different. What are the stakes here? So this time the stake is that if whoever loses is going to he's going to go into exile for 13 years. And out of these 13 years, 12 years, they will be in some forest in the exile. And the 13th year, they will be in this special kind of exile. It's called Ajñatavas. Ajñata is like unknown. So what it means is that in this last 13th year, if somebody were to discover them, then this whole thing will repeat. They would have to go back for another 13-year span, which is another 12 years in regular exile and 13th year in the special exile. And then if one were to discover them, you get the picture. It will just go on. So the whole thing is basically, get out of here. I want to enjoy this whole thing and you are not coming back. I will just make sure that you go, because it was, he would send his spies and he will make sure that they get discovered in 13 years. So he is confident that he will be able to do that. So this is the stake that is there in this next round of dice. And you know the result. Everybody knew Yudhishthira was going to lose. But the funny thing is, even at this point, when Yudhishthira is, he still thinks he has got a chance. He might win and all. It's very, very surprising. The character that Yudhishthira is, that first of all, that he should play dice, and after he plays, he should have this hope. His thinking is so lofty that it's almost contradictory that he would even entertain these kind of thoughts coming. Some of the dialogues that are there in the Mahabharat that Yudhishthira talks about, they are like mind-boggling, baffling, the heights that he goes to when he talks about these things. And for him to get into this game of dice, and not just that, but to lose, it's mind-boggling. The Bhagwad Gita is centered around, of course, Sri Krishna is the one who is giving all the advice, but it's centered around the character of Arjun. Arjun is the one who is asking questions and to whom Sri Krishna is giving his advice. But if you leave the Bhagavad Gita aside and look at other parts of the Mahabharata, you will find that Yudhishthira plays a key role. You will find him mentioned. There are some, maybe one or two I can just mention in the passing, one of the two incidents. So anyhow, they come for a second time, they lose, and they are sent into this, it's called Vanvasa, into this exile, 12 years exile and 13 years of in hiding. They cannot be discovered. So this 12 years, they obviously it's a long period. And in this 12 years, the Mahabharat is, I have mentioned a couple of times before, it's this number 18 is an interesting number that keeps coming up in the Mahabharata. There are 18 chapters in the Mahabharata. The Mahabharata war was fought for 18 days. And I think there are 18 parvas also. Parva is a section, which is what I have been telling you, that there are Mahabharata has been written in parvas. So this 12 years that they went, this is called as the Aranyaka Parva. And then it's 12 years is a long time. So there's lots and lots of stories around that happen in this 12-year period in the Aranyaka Parva. And then there is the Udyoga Parva. We'll see what that is, not in detail, but yeah, that's where the Vidur Niti is discussed more in that Parva. So when the Pandavas go into exile, there is a kind of building that takes place of values, of strengths, of intelligence, general maturity. And so all these teachings are being done in this 12-year period. And from a story perspective, one might say it is not that important. If you take each individual story, then there is some teaching into it. But overall, as this 12-year period, it might appear that this is not such a significant, what's the big deal in 12 years and how does it exactly fit? But later on, we'll see why this is such a critical thing, that they go there for 12 years and things that they do. There are interesting stories that there is, at one time, there is a lake. And this is a very popular story in the Mahabharata. There is a lake and they want to go and get water, and then the youngest one, the youngest Pandava goes and he wants to take the water, but it is guarded by a what do you call that, celestial deity. It's called as Yaksha, and he drinks the water and he's dead. And one by one, all the Pandavas die, and then Yudhishthir comes and he figures out there's something fishy going on here, and he asks around. The Yaksha appears and he says, what is happening? And Yaksha says, I will, you have to answer. I've got some questions. You have to answer them. If you are able to answer, then I will revive these brothers of yours. And those questions are fairly deep. A lot of discussion is there on the question and the answers that Yudhishthir gives them. It's another, it will take a long time to go through it, and it's not relevant to the Bhagwad Gita portion of the things. And then he revives them, and they come across some demons, and Hima ends up marrying one of them, and he has a kid from them. His name is Ghatotkach. So these interactions between these demigods and demons and celestial gods, they are all symbolic. You don't have to take them at face value. When somebody is saying that he had 1,000 arms, it's symbolic. You have to look behind. So we will, when we get to that point in our story, I will try and again come back to this incident and see if I can reflect on it. So this Pandavas, after they go into the exile, and then this year comes up where they have to go into hiding. And so this year of hiding, they spend in this kingdom of Virat. It's called as the Matsia Kingdom, and Virat was the king of that kingdom. So it's Virat Raj. And the Pandavas, they enter into a disguise and they spend their year there. So here, Interestingly, here also you can see that Yudhishthir, he is disguised under the name of Kank, and it is K-A-N-K, Kank. Okay, just it might rhyme with some other word that we know of, but it's Kank. And here too, you will see he's actually playing dice with the king. So he's shown that he's good at it, and the king Virat, he's actually surprised at his skills, and that's what is being told in the Mahabharat. But he is disguised as Kank. Arjun is disguised as a chef. He's cooking. He's Vallabh. And I would not have got into these details, but the Arjun, he is disguised as this character called Brihannala. And I'll just mention that in the passing, a little bit more detail on that. And the twins, they are in the stable, and Draupadi is she's called Sairandri. So she's assisting or helping, serving the queen of that kingdom. They get some hints of these are not ordinary people, because they show some extraordinary skills, so that the king can and others can see some glimpses of their strengths and the way they carry themselves. They get a sense of it. But they spend this year in Ajnatavas, and this character that is there, that is Brihannala. So this character, in this Arjun, there is a story here that Arjun goes to heaven, and then something happens, and the Apsara, then the Apsara is a divine maiden. She puts or lays a curse on him that he would have to live the life of a eunuch. He's neither male nor female. And he happens to use this in this period of hiding. And so he lives in that kingdom as Brihannala. That's the name. And there is stories around that. Just like, Mahabharat is full of these things. But this is a interesting character that Arjuna plays the role of in this period of hiding. Now, what happens is that the queen Draupadi, she's with the queen of this king Virat, and there is this infamous, notorious guy, he's the brother of the queen, is Kichak. He happens to see Sairandari, and he's after her. He's like, I like her. And then the brothers, some of them are aware of it, and then they figure out how to interact with him, and there's a meeting organized. So this is Kichak, who is in love. Well, not love as in he is basically infatuated with Sairandri, Draupadi, and they happen to organize a meet, and then Bhima, he kills Kichak. Now this incident is pretty important because at that time, around the known kingdoms and the kings that were there, Kichak was virtually indestructible, and the only people who could kill him is, if I am not wrong, is Duryodhan and Bhima. Nobody else could kill him. That was what was known at that time. And if he's dead, it was indication enough for everybody that Bhima is there. They know it. And so this is kind of, this marks the end of the 13 years. Now there is a big dispute. The Duryodhana says that he has discovered these guys before the 13th year is over, and so they need to go back. Now, one more incident takes place at this time, and that is that one more small story, but not to get into the details, that the Kauravas, they happen to attack this kingdom of Virat, not for this reason, for a different reason. They attack him, and then the then prince of the king of Virat, his name is Uttara. He goes to the battlefield, and they want to fight with the Kauravas. And then these Pandavas are saying, Kank and others, the guys in disguise, they're telling him, take Brihandala with you. He's like, what is she going to do? The guys are like, listen to me, take her. She will be of help to you. So he takes her, and then the battle ensues. The battle takes place, and there is just Arjuna. There's really, in that battle, there is Arjuna on the side of Virat, and on the other side there is all these Bhishma and Drona and all these people are there, Karna. And when the battle takes place, single-handedly, Arjuna defeats them. And this was a major event. That one of course is that Kichak is there, but this one is that how does a warrior, especially of the stature of Uttara, although it is Brihandala here who is fighting, which is Arjun, who can defeat Bhishma and Drona and Karna? Forget all of them together, just as an individual. And so this Virat battle plays like it's a incident, an event which is referenced over and over again, that if Arjuna can do this, if he can single-handedly defeat all of us, if we enter into a battle with the Kauravas, with the Pandavas, just Arjun alone is enough, because our defeat is guaranteed. So that is why this topic keeps coming up again and again, and there is a heated exchange between different characters in the Kaurava family related to this incident. So now that this has happened, the 13 years are over, and the Pandavas are saying, we have done what was asked, and now we'll come back, or we want to come back and get what is ours. And Duryodhana is disputing that. He's like, no, I have discovered you guys before the end of your 13 years, and you need to go back. So he's obviously not going to give in. He'll come up with something else. So he just cannot live. Arjun, the Pandavas and the Kauravas, they cannot live together, is what the fact is. So there is a brief moment of an attempt by Sri Krishna to strike a peace deal. So at the first instance, when this request comes from the Pandavas to Dhritarashtra that we have completed whatever was expected of us, and what is your king, what do you want us to do? And as usual, he is manipulated by his son, and he has the cheek, he has the nerve, the audacity to send back this message that, you guys live where you are happily. I'm happy you finished it. Just live there. Don't come back over here. And Yudhishthira says, no, 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 that won't happen. We need to have our kingdom. Like there's lots of things that happen between, but I'm just cutting it really short. And then Sri Krishna comes. Actually, there are a couple of stories around this. Yudhishthira tells Krishna that even if they don't give us the whole kingdom, even if they give us a piece of it, we should be happy with it. The others are obviously not that thrilled by what Yudhishthira is saying. At one point, it is said that Bhishma is also okay with, not Bhishma, Bhima is also okay with it. That as long as there is no battle, I'm okay with this, which is disputed at some other places, because he says, if the battle doesn't take place, what's going to happen to the oath that I took? I need to kill Dushasan in order to get this blood from him. So what will happen to that? So Krishna, he plays the role of messenger, and he gets to Dhritarashtra, and he said, give them something, if not if not whatever was agreed to, give them something. And Duryodhana says they are going to get nothing at all. They can just live there. If they come here, well, it will be war if they come here, and we'll kill them. Either they kill us or we'll kill them. No, whatever. So this brief attempt at peace by Krishna is defeated by Duryodhana, because he's adamant. And at this point, the armies start assembling or in their own camps, because now it's pretty sure that the battle is going to take place. So we are very, very close to the start of the Bhagwad Gita. And I think what I will do is I might run through the first chapter, and then we are going to return back to a lot of things that we went over, so we can establish the symbolism that is there. And in that light, then you will begin to look at Bhagavad Gita in a whole different way, unless of course you already know about it, but what is being talked about. So we will continue with that next time. So thanks for listening to this cast, and we'll conclude the session today. Thank you. Bye.